Hello, everybody. Aaron from the Ball Pit here, back with another episode of the Writer's Block. I know I just had one a couple days ago, and now I'm back with another one. I think I had one yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I actually just wanted to put a little update out there on this whole Drake versus Kendrick beef, because Drake just dropped a response track. I had a number of things I want to say about it. Now, before you call me biased, because I have Kendrick posters behind my right shoulder there. I wore my Canada shirt today. So you guys you can't say I'm biased because I got both sides right here. I'm objective. So in this Drake response track, he didn't really fully address a lot of Kendrick's claims. And the ones he did address, I feel like weren't done in the best way possible. So, like, one of those is the whole Kendrick saying he has a daughter point. He's like, yeah, we fed this information to you. We falsified this information and fed it to you to expose you and make you look stupid. And it's like, why are we just now hearing about this? Right? Like, if I was Drake, I would have recorded that whole process of us, falsifying this information and then leaking it to Kendrick. And as soon as Meet the Grams dropped, I would have been on all social medias and been like, oh, I have a daughter. Bam, receipts dropped everywhere. Done, exposed. I mean, right there you would suck all of the soul and impact out of Meet the Grams. Even the pedophile allegations and stuff, because you immediately responded and delegitimized Kendrick's diss, which means that in turn the other points are also delegitimized. And you'd think if you're moving so militant and so, like that you would have receipts that shows that you did falsify this information and you did purposely leak it to give Kendrick bad information. But you don't have receipts. You're going along, in my opinion, he's going along with a narrative that's formed on Twitter, which was that the mole is fake and Drake gave Kendrick bad info to delegitimize the diss track. Like, I'm telling you, if he would have brought receipts to this, it would have been over, bro. I think Drake might be winning, but he just didn't. And then with the pedophile allegations, he's like, I don't talk to no Millie Bobby Brown or whatever, and it's like, dude, nobody mentioned Millie Bobby Brown. What are you talking about? And it's just, he's like, I'm too famous. If I was actually doing this shit, they would have caught me and put me in jail right now because I'm too famous. It's like, first of all, no. Like, wasn't the whole Epstein shit that there was a bunch of, like, super elite, rich, famous people, like, going to Epstein's Island to mess around with kids? Like, there is no too famous for this type of shit. Hell, they were fucking putting allegations against Michael Jackson, and that motherfucker might be the most famous person to ever live. Like, dead ass. And then, he's like, well, if I was doing that, I'd be in jail. It's like, dude, fucking Dan Schneider or whatever, the guy who these Nickelodeon documentaries about him and kids are coming out about now, that dude's free. He's not in jail. There are a bunch of dudes about that shit that aren't in jail. Karl Malone, I don't think he ever went to jail. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, they're bad points as like a counter or response to the pedophile allegations. And then, Drake in this diss track said a lot of shit about Kendrick, about him hitting his wife, him not seeing his kids for 6 months, one of his kids not being his and being some Dave Freeze or whatever. And these are very potent points that I think we need receipts or something for. Because if Drake is able to prove that Kendrick hasn't seen his kids in 6 months and things are unstable with his wife, it really sucks a lot of the impact out of Kendrick's disses, where, like, because in Meet the Grams, Kendrick, like, says with chest, you're a deadbeat motherfucker and I hope you die. And if Drake's able to turn it back on Kendrick and be like, no, you're a deadbeat because you haven't seen your kids in 6 months, that would be really powerful, and Drake wins hands down if he does that. The problem is I don't think he will do that because I don't think he has the receipts. That's the problem. Like with Drake's history with messing around with children, there are receipts like out there on the internet and stuff. Like there's stuff. It was already like a thing that people talked about before Kendrick mentioned it. Kendrick mentioning it just gave it more legitimacy. And then Drake also at the end was just kind of like, I'm not. He's basically bowing out of this whole thing, which I understand why you would do that, because it's got with Meet the Grams and stuff like that and the pedophile allegations. It's gotten to a point where this shit's not an exhibition to see who is better at rapping. This is now like real disrespectful, like hater shit. And I do think what Drake was trying to do is put out his last track, but this is everything I gotta say. You can keep yapping about me if you want to, but I'm done with this. I'm gonna go focus on some other shit. But I don't think the track he did it on was strong enough to be able to do that. I think if he did that with like a track with the level of quality of Family Matters, I think then you might actually be able to get out and just like leave and possibly make Kendrick look worse because he just keeps going. But at this point, I don't think you made a strong enough track just be like, I'm gone and I'm not answering anything else. Like, no, there's still a lot of shit you got to answer, buddy. There's still a lot of shit we got to talk about. Like, I don't think you can just do that. But nevertheless, it is up to Kendrick to respond to a lot of the allegations that were put out. I'd love to hear another response. And let's just see what happens. It's been a great time for hip hop in general. You have two of like the titans of like this larger generation going back and forth, and like this is the most we've seen of Kendrick in a long time. And it's the most we've seen of Drake in this sort of mindset, this sort of mentality, making this sort of music in a long time. So it's a good thing to see, as long as it can, hopefully stay a little more cordial, because it definitely started to get out of hand there at the end, and it's kind of out of hand now. But that's really all I wanted to say. Just a little update video. I just wanted to make it because I did have something else to say, but also because I didn't have a video ready for today, and it is now today. And I got to go to work and shit, so I'm not going to have time to finish editing. So I just put out a little update video. Doesn't really take that much editing, and just go from there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you want to. If you don't, I don't care. Like the video if you want to. If you don't, I don't care as well. Have a great rest of your day. I'm clocking out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm clocking in here in a minute.